by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
Almost 6:30 on this Monday. It is official. A big announcement from Governor Steve Bullock. We are live at the state capitol to bring you the latest.
And police have to break up a disturbance after cars are towed away from an apartment complex near Montana State. Coming up, how officers reacted to report a tow truck was shot at.
Yeah, that blowing up social media yesterday here in the Gallatin Valley. We'll have more. Gabby Crevitt covering that for us yesterday. Meantime, Matt covering our weather for us right now.
I'm doing everything I can to keep the snow out, at least for the early part of the day, but we're still going to have at least some snow showers to deal with. Temperatures right now in that prime range where you see that snow develop, right around that 30-degree mark. 28 in Butte, 31 in Belgrade. You look at the latest radar returns, we are seeing that snow really trying to pocket up near Butte, Anaconda, Deer Lodge area. Our temperatures should be into the 30s. I think it's light to moderate accumulation through the morning and then another surge as you head into the evening. Now, as you head into the afternoon today, it looks like things will clear out in Butte, but right now, slushy, wet conditions as snow continues to fall. We'll, of course, break all that apart for you so you know what to expect coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. Multiple sources tell MTN News Governor Steve Bullock is running for the U.S. Senate.
That's right. Our own Jay Cohn and Mike Dennison have been outside the governor's office all morning long, and they now have the official announcement, we do believe, coming from the state capitol. Jay, Mike?
Well, and of course, the breaking news is now we know for sure that Governor Bullock is in fact running for the U.S. Senate here in Montana. That news put out on the governor's website just within the last half hour. Mike Dennison here with me at the state capitol. We have not seen the governor yet this morning, but Mike, we know he's been busy.
Yes, he has. He's obviously been busy over the weekend, huddling with his campaign people. We saw the emails, the announcement, the videos, everything's out there now. And now we just have the official filing as all is left to be done, and of course the multi-million-dollar campaign that's coming up.
And the big question, what made the governor change his mind? It wasn't that long ago he said he wasn't interested. Today he has a new motivation that he mentioned, in that Mitch McConnell, and trying to have him no longer be the Senate Majority Leader.
That's right. That's the question that he's going to have to answer. What changed your mind? They've been thinking about it, obviously. And one thing, Mitch McConnell is kind of a favorite whipping boy of the Democrats. So this is what they've chosen as one of the things, saying we have to get this guy out of there where the Democrats want to retake the majority in the Senate, and I'm going to help them do it.
We'll have much more today and what went into the governor's decision. But Mike, obviously this is not a surprise to Senator Steve Daines and his campaign. They've been prepping for this Steve versus Steve race for some time.
Yes, they have. And not just since they heard about it a week ago that he's probably going to run. They've been getting ready for this for months upon months, thinking, okay, he says no, but we're not going to be caught flat-footed. We're going to be ready for this guy. I'm sure they've got lots of opposition research they've been working on, lots of things they're going to roll out to make this a very competitive campaign.
A few things the governor mentioned in his announcement on his website, fighting for student tuition to keep it at zero, which he has during his tenure as governor. Also fighting against dark money and
Medicaid expansion as well.
Expanded Medicaid. So plenty on those issues to come, but for now, Governor Steve Bullock is running for the Senate. We're expecting an official announcement later today around noon. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Mike and Jane. Perhaps they'll catch the governor sometime during the
show.
We'll find out.
More to follow coming up on our noon news, and of course tonight, 5:30 and 10 o'clock.
Yes, of course. Now it's 6:33. There was a heavy police presence Sunday at an apartment complex near Montana State University.
Yeah, the reason that police presence there is a bit of a bizarre story. MTN's Gabby Crevitt has the details.
Earlier this afternoon, 4 law enforcement agencies from the Bozeman area responded to an incident at the Hawks Ridge apartment complexes off of West Kagi. For hours, the road going right through the apartment complex as well as Lincoln Avenue were closed. The Bozeman Police Department is investigating allegations of a tow truck being shot by an unknown subject in the Hawk Ridge condo complex off West Kagi. The Hawk Ridge condos, commonly known as The Block, is home to a number of Montana State University students. Residents reported tow trucks towing cars that were illegally parked on Friday and Saturday night.
They started towing people Friday night. Nobody got a warning from their landlords, and it was like 1 in the morning. People got out on the street. They started like going crazy. is pretty insane.
We were unable to confirm with law enforcement what time the tow truck was shot at or how many shots were fired. But residents are convinced it's related to the recent cracking down in parking in the neighborhood.
There's a new tow company in here, and they're actually starting to tow people, surprisingly. Never happened before.
Residents were kept away as law enforcement officers investigated the scene.
Got a video from my roommate that the police were out of their cars and had their rifles drawn on somebody, and they were clearing a few houses.
According to Bozeman PD, nobody is in custody right now, but a number of people were escorted from the scene for questioning. Reporting in Bozeman, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
Now, Gabby tells us late Sunday evening, law enforcement did allow residents back into their homes in that area. We'll have more on that story coming up at 5:30 tonight.
And in other local headlines, thousands of firefighters stayed home this year after the annual Seattle Stair Climb event was postponed over coronavirus concerns.
That's true, but it didn't stop a crew from Gallatin County firefighters from taking part in their own way. Seattle Stair Climb brings firefighters from around the world every year for a race to climb up stairs at the Columbia Tower in full firefighting gear. It all raises money for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So firefighters from the Gallatin Valley decided to run the race locally. Members of the Highlight and Central Valley Fire District met at the base of the M Trailhead in Bozeman to show their support for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
So we are doing kind of a fixed shift stair climb since the one in Seattle got canceled. Everyone in Montana is kind of doing the same thing too, and we're basically just trying to, give a little bit back to the fundraisers who gave us money to climb some stairs, but we're making do.
Now, there is a chance the Seattle Stair Climb gets rescheduled this year. You can learn how to donate to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society by visiting our website.
That's an awesome story.
That's such a good thing, yep.
6:36 now. The sleigh ride dinners at Lone Mountain Ranch in Big Sky have become legendary.
Oh, yes, they have. Here's this week's Under the Big Sky.
Lone Mountain Ranch in Big Sky, Montana. The sleigh ride dinners are becoming the most popular thing to do around here. It's been going on for almost 40 years. The dining experience here is incredible. That stove is 125 years old and it's been cooking prime rib for almost 40. Sleigh and all the people is around 4,000 pounds, and that's what those two horses are going to weigh together. So they're pulling their weight up the mountain. They earn their oats. We run 4 sleighs up there. They generally carry about 12 to 13, 14 people. Try to keep the loads all the same for the horses. Head up through the darkness, keep the horses pointed in the right direction. It takes about 20, 25 minutes to get up to the cabin. It was built, they say, in the late 70s. Could have been the 1870s, The lighting's down, dim, just because we're dealing with candles and these nice German-made Dietz lanterns. It's hot soup to start out the dinner, hot soup and homemade popovers. Then we'll spring a few tunes on them there a little bit and head off into Prime Ribville. Everybody has dinner and nice conversation. Around 9:30 or so, we kind of wind it up and load up onto the sleighs. We usually have everybody back down here, before 10 o'clock. It's always a joy to meet people and find out where they're from. I think it's a memory maker, Really kind of a cool experience.
From so many years ago, I'd have a history to show my family I treasure forevermore.
And you can, of course, catch the full sleigh ride dinner story in our next episode of Under the Big Sky, premiering Saturday, March 28th at 6 p.m. right here on Montana This Morning.
My mouth is watering watching that Prime Rib.
I know. Oh my gosh, and popovers.
It's one of my favorite stories every month that we do. 6:38. It is time for this month's edition of A Waiting Child.
MTN's Jenny Fick gets to meet Anthony.
Anthony is very creative. He loves storytelling. He's very interested in reading and history. Most recently, he's been reading a lot about the Egyptian culture, and he could go on and tell you all about it.
He loves Pokemon, though he can't pick a favorite.
Mewtwo. Okay, that's the strongest Pokemon.
Is ready for a successful discharge from New Day. So that goes to show that he's completed all of his goals that he's worked on for over a year. Does struggle with mean people. That really bothers him. So he's just a very kind-hearted, just sweet boy. You know, unfortunately, in the social work field of things, it's not always a happy ending, and you don't always get to see the, you know, a year's worth of work that these kids do and try to see them off. And so to be able to see that with Anthony, just kind of, it's the best feeling.
Anthony is off the charts intelligent with a wide knowledge of all the interworkings of video games and computers.
He is someone who's never complained about his situation. I think Anthony would do so well and just flourish in just a healthy home. He has said that he would love to just have 2 parents who love him, and he would love to have an older brother that would play with him. Of course, a family with pets or a dog, somewhere where he knows that he's content and permanent and is comfortable.
You go in the wheel.
He is really funny.
And you're tiny. I mean, like, you're tiny. You're not the Minecraft character. You're like, let's just say about that tall.
And he's really, really good at Uno. He beats me in Uno pretty much every time we play, so no mercy.
In Billings, Jenny Fick, MTN News.
Thank you, Jenny. 6:41. We're going to take a quick break here on Montana This Morning. When we come back, finally some answers for those stranded aboard the Grand Princess cruise ship after a coronavirus outbreak. We'll tell you what's next for them. But first, here's a look at what's coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, we'll have the latest coronavirus headlines and numbers at the top of every hour. Plus, as the coronavirus continues to spread, many hospitals across the country are struggling to cope with patients. We'll take you inside the ER to see how prepared doctors and nurses are to battle this potentially deadly disease. Also, former presidential candidate Cory Booker joins us to talk about the fight between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders for the Democratic nomination. And a new book warns we are losing ourselves by being too productive. The author is here in Studio 57 to tell us why it's a good idea to take a break and do nothing sometimes. Seat 7.